Hello, and welcome to this tutorial. Today, we're going to learn how to draw eyes. The tools we need for this project are a radial compass, 3 pencils, a 2H for low gradation, a 4B for medium gradation, and an 8B for high gradation, a blending tool, a kneadable eraser, a white gel pen or paint marker, a standard eraser, and a ruler. The secret to drawing realistic-looking eyes is knowing that it's not just about the shape, but also the actual physical structure. For a detailed breakdown of this video, be sure to follow the link in the description box below, where you can find a complimentary guide with pictures and step-by-step instructions for this tutorial and many others. Alright, let's begin. With your compass and lowest gradation pencil, make a circle right in the center of your canvas. Then, let's draw 2 more circles that just barely touch our center circle, so we end up with 3 circles, all the same size and all in a row. The outside circles will be the eyes, and the center one is there as a placeholder to ensure we have the proper distance between the eyes. Next, locate the very center of your circles and trace a line right through them. Now that we have this, let's set the eye socket positions with 2 angular lines. Try to make sure the angles fall just below our center line. Since we have this basic structure laid out, we can move on to making the shape of the eyes. Pencil in 2 irregular hexagons. Symmetry is important here, so do your best to keep them of the same size, shape, and position. Time for the eyelids. Just sketch them in like this, and press down a little harder on the upper eyelids than you would on the lower ones. For the iris, grab your compass and drop in small circles directly in the center of each eye. Do the same for the pupils, and lightly shade them. Now, we are ready to begin with the eyebrows. Softly imply the shape of the eyebrows with your pencil, and just curve around the eyes. Perfect. Okay. With your eraser, take out these guidelines. Not all the way, we still need them. We just don't want them to be very bold. With a medium gradation pencil, let's transform these guidelines into forms that look organic. Don't be afraid to move your canvas around while doing this, so that your traces are nice and stable. Lightly fill in the brows and gently outline the shape of the eyes and the eyelids. Shade the pupil just a little more and do the same for the other eye. We can now start to give the eye more volume and dimension by shading just around the corners. There, that's better. Now instead of flat circles, we have the appearance of 2 distinct spheres. Back to the eyebrows. Use your blending tool to smooth out the rougher traces and also to give them more volume. In this next step, we can use a combination of blending and strong traces on the upper eyelid to give it that little fold. Like earlier, go easy on the lower eyelid. With a piece of tissue, softly pull some of this graphite under the eye. This effect should be barely noticeable. Now just give it a small touch-up with your blending tool, and that is taken care of. We are now going to place some deeper shadows right on the top of the inner eye. Keep in mind, these shadows are being cast by the eye socket, as the eyes are slightly recessed. Be sure to check the guide for a deep dive into this. If you feel the shadows are too intense, you can use a kneadable eraser to lighten them up a bit. You are the artist, so make sure it looks the way you want it to. Now we can do just a little more sketching to give these shadows some depth. Do the same for the outer part of the eye as well. After all this blending, let's just remark these skin folds with a high gradation pencil. In this area right here, pull some graphite from a darker region rather than the eyelid itself, and use a section of tissue that already has some graphite on it. If it's too clean, we won't be able to achieve quite the same effect. The eyelids are done. Moving on to some softer shadowing around the outer corners of the eyes, just like this, and blend and blend. For the lower part, we are using only soft traces, so it's just a hint of a shadow. From shadows to highlights, here we go. With the edge of your eraser and assistance from your blending tools, remove some shadow from the inner eye and guide it toward the nose bridge. Do the same for the other eye, and if you feel like you have removed too much, no worries. You can go over it again and repeat the process. Blend only if you think it's necessary. Take a moment to admire your fine work, and let's go to the nose. We are not actually drawing the nose. We are giving just the slightest hint of it being there. So make lines that are barely even there to create the implied shape of the nose. Once you have that, softly blend it in with your tissue. Remember, this is subtle, not a dramatic effect. For the nose bridge, let's consider that it should be there, but once again, barely noticeable. We can achieve this through very light blending. Let's turn our attention back to the pupil and iris. Beginning with the pupil, shade it really dark with your highest gradation pencil. Then, pull some small lines from the center of the pupil and blend. Now just go over it again with more lines, making some of them thick and some thin. Now let's not focus too much on making this hyper-realistic. Rather, let's take this as an opportunity to get to know these features and their underlying structures. Give it the slightest blend, and now, let's start working from the border of the iris toward the pupil, using the exact same technique and drawing these small triangular shapes all the way around. This is not an exact science by any means, so please take your artistic license, use your creativity, experiment, and most of all, have fun with the process. Blend the borders, and we are done with the iris. All right, let's bring this home. Grab your darkest pencil and using confident strokes, pencil in the hair of the eyebrows. Please refer to the step-by-step guide for more insight into this technique. Basically, we are trying to give this a layered look by stacking the lines and giving them variations of value and thickness. Eyebrows are done. This is looking great, but something is missing. Ah, the eyelashes. Okay, for the eyelashes, The first thing we need to do is thicken the area on the eyelids the eyelashes grow out of. Let's take this opportunity to remark the lower eyelids as well, in order to give them some definition. Now, we are ready to make the eyelashes. First, using your darkest pencil, let's frame this in by making small clusters of sharp strokes. Then, just fill in the spaces between them. Be mindful of the fact that the outer lashes are long and bold and gradually decrease in intensity as you work your way toward the inner eye. Do the same for the lower eyelashes, only with smaller strokes, and again, making them thinner as we move toward the inner eye area. Eyelashes are finished. For the next and final step, we are going to use our white gel pen to make the highlights. Please note this area of the iris that we are highlighting is almost always where the light reflects. These highlights extend along the eye toward the tear ducts. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, had fun, and learned a few things along the way. If you did, please share in the comments section below. Like and subscribe for more drawing videos like this, and ring the bell so you know about it when new ones are available. Thank you so much, and see you soon.